I see a lot of bullshit being spouted across every single platform on content strategy and how you should do this and you need better hooks and all this kind of stuff. Some of it's great, a lot of it's not. And I don't know about you, but sometimes we kind of fall into the trap. Certainly myself and a few people I speak to who are creators and who make content. We kind of fall into this trap that we just need to get it off the to-do list. All right. Oh shit! I've not done a post for tomorrow. I've not posted today. Quick, get it done. When a lot of the time, that's the worst approach ever to creating content. A lot of us entrepreneurial types tend to rush a load of stuff, and I think content is one of those things. So I wanted to show you a process as to how you can make shit hot content without even thinking about it once you've set this up. Okay, so shit hot content fast. I'm going to take you through my fast system. I'm going to take you through the only content pillars you need. I'm going to take you through the stages of the journey that we want to take people on. And then I'm going to break down each component. So you can set this up once, think about it once, and then only ever have to make minor adjustments. So if you don't know me already, my name's Chris James. I run a mentorship program called C2C. We've taken about 400 people just over through it now. The aim of the game is to hit six figures working 4 to 6 hours a day max. Ideally, because a lot of our clients are parents, to do that in school hours. But you can only do that when you are one thing, and that is extremely intentional. Us as solopreneurs don't have a lot of time. So what that means, and I think it's a positive because I like operating under constraints, but what that means is we have to be extremely intentional with the time that we do have. And this is going to help you do that. So without further ado, let's hop in. You may well have heard this research piece that Google did a while ago. And it's been kicking around for a while. I used to work at an agency where we sold big content solutions to massive brands like FedEx, Subway, Jack Daniels, loads of different brands. And there was this research piece, apparently, I've also heard it's bullshit, so I don't know, that Google conducted, where for the average person to actually buy, they have to have a certain level of exposure to the person or the brand that they are considering buying from. And I think it's something along these lines, 7, 4, 11. So in order for me, let's say, to buy, I don't know, Nike products, I would need exposing to 7 hours of touch points or content from Nike in 4 formats or across 4 different platforms and a total of 11 touch points. All right. So think about that. 7 fucking hours is a long time, especially if we're only churning out, I don't know, a text post every 3 days on LinkedIn. It's not the best way to indoctrinate people into your way of thinking. There are other people with massive distribution systems. 4 formats or 4 channels. So that could be phone, it could be TikTok, it could be radio, it could be an ad on Sky. Obviously, we're talking about social content here today. And 11 touch points, so 11 times. This is just an average, but I want to get into what the point of it is and the point of content as a whole. Like, what is the overall objective? Well, unless you're selling directly from your content, which some people in our client base do, most of the time, you're just trying to generate trust. That is the objective of content, all right? And if we think about this, just call it the 7-hour rule. If we have to get people to spend 7 hours of time with us, it's a lot. So we need a way in which we can make sure we condense or accelerate that 7 hours, which is what I'm going to talk to you about today. And before we can really build trust, we have to understand that it's built on 2 levels. Okay? That's what this next part is. Obviously, it's a heart. But this is a brain. All right? So trust is built logically but also emotionally too. And essentially what that does, break it down, logic makes people think that you're smart. Okay, on paper, it makes sense for me to buy this thing or work with this person because they clearly know what they're doing. They've got some decent results. I can see the ROI. Makes sense on paper. But the emotional side is what a lot of people in business, entrepreneurial types, tend to forget. It's the feeling surrounding the content. How does your brand, how does your persona, how does the way you talk, act, the language you use make people feel? What emotional connection is created in the stuff that you're putting out? And it's very easy for me to stand up here and say, oh, create a connection. A lot of the time, it's a lot harder in practice. But I'm going to take you through the 4 pillars, the only 4 pillars you'll ever need, in a second. But let's just think about this again, all right? We are trying to accelerate trust at scale because we're pushing out content one-to-many in a few different formats and hit people, let's say 10 to 20 times, 11 on average. We need to justify ourselves logically, but also connect emotionally. And the way that we do that is through making sure most pieces of our content, or certainly the whole strategy, has 4 things, 4 pillars. Now, I'm not a big fan of the framing of content pillars, so you can call them buckets, call them whatever you want, all right? But there are 4 things I think you really need to consider in your content strategy, all right? The first one is that it solves a problem. And the 4 P's, just to make it nice and easy. So the first one is that it solves a problem, because you think when you're scrolling on TikTok or you're searching YouTube, you're doing that for a reason, all right? TikTok is probably boredom, so you're still solving a problem. And YouTube is probably because you actually want to solve a problem. So you're searching for a tutorial. A friend of mine, Katie, had a video which had, I don't know, it's 50,000 or 500,000 views, a really good number of views. And it was just her showing someone how to get her get a phone out if it was stuck behind a radiator. That many people have searched for content on how to pull out a mobile phone that is stuck behind a radiator, okay? Because it solves a problem there and then. So we want to make sure that we are solving some form of problem with our content. Why? Well, people don't buy unless they have a problem, all right? They have a need, they have a requirement. Now, that might be financial, it might be business related. A lot of the time it might be ego or status related. They want to feel good or look good, whatever. But you never give someone your cash, whether you're an individual or a business owner, unless it solves a problem. So that's one thing that our content needs to do. The next thing, and this is that, the problem is very logical. The next one is personal or personality. All right. This is the one I see a lot of people skip. They go all in on problem solving content, which is very logical. But they forget that at the end of the day, people that are giving you money are just that. They are people. They have feelings, and we need to connect with them, as I mentioned earlier. So how do you add personality to your content? Well, obviously it will depend on the format. Just me being here on camera gives you an element of my personality. I piss about a bit. I stumble over my words. I'm not too polished. I like diagrams. I talk about fucking radiators. I swear. I wear athletic clothing because I'm pretending to be an athlete. I'm joking. I am an athlete. But personality, that is something that you need to bring out into your content. If it's just written content that you publish, then the easy way to do that is simply to tell stories. Okay, things that have happened to you. And we're going to get onto that shortly. The next thing that you want your content to have is proof. Proof is massive, because I'm not going to buy from you if you can't prove you are good at the thing you are selling. Plus, it creates a load of success stories. Now, proof can come in 2 forms, right? We talk about social proof, which is where a lot of people or your clients have got results, or a lot of people follow you, as an example. Just me having, I don't know how many I've got. It keeps going down because I don't pay that much attention to Instagram, but I think I've got about 45,000 followers on Instagram. Like, that's a proof signal, even though it's bullshit. People still buy into it. It is social proof. So we've got other people proof, but then we've also got you proof. So more of your authority signals. As an example, I wrote a book and it was a bestseller on Amazon. It knocked Alex Hormozy off the top of the Amazon charts for like 7 seconds in about 3 different categories. But just being like a best-selling author is a proof signal, right? I've actually taken the time, and it was before fucking AI as well, taken the time to go and produce something that's based entirely on my frameworks, my worldview, my stories, my successes, my failures, my values, all that kind of thing, and packaged it into a book. And I launched it on stage at a big event in the UK called Atomicon. And just the pictures of me launching a book, standing on stage in front of people, is a massive proof signal and an authority signal to people that might be considering working with me. And you've got stuff like this in your arsenal, whether you know it or not. And again, these 3 things kind of start to work together, all right? Because if I've written a book, as an example, let's use a different example. Let's say I helped Emma hit her first 25k month, which I did earlier this year when she joined C2C, all right? So there's proof in there. But I can also show the problem that I solved, and if I got her on a video interview, which we did film one recently, I can inject personality too. So all these things do work together, or you can use them in silos. So if you want to talk about a problem that you've solved, you can talk about the process behind it, or how to do it and make it more tutorial based. Then you can just tell personal stories. So we just got a new cat, as an example. He's cool as shit. His name is Louis. I could do a post about him. I've not done one. I'm sure he'll probably come in and interrupt us in a sec. But that's just a purely personal thing. I could post just a client screenshot saying how amazing I am or the service is. Or I could screenshot my LinkedIn recommendations, or not TripAdvisor, what's it called? Trustpilot. Do a TripAdvisor one as well. So all these things can work together, or they can work on their own. But you need to make sure you include them all. Another one I see a lot of potential clients of ours, so people who are in our target market not doing, is the final P, and that is promo. I'm going to get close into the camera for this. You are a business owner. You have something to sell. You need to fucking promote it. Please, for the love of God, please promote your shit. Not all the time. I'm not saying you have to spam. Just talk about it. Because if you have something to sell and you don't talk about it, no one else will. No one will even know that you exist or that the thing exists if you shy away from this. And I think this is the massive problem with social media over the last few years, is everyone is so focused on looking cool that they forget the reason they're on the fucking platforms in the first place, which is actually to grow a brand, yes, but make money. If you don't make money, your business will die. In order for you to make money and stop your business dying, you have to sell. In order to sell, you actually have to fucking promote. So please don't forget this one. And again, there are different levels to promotion. So you can do a straight up piece of content that is just sell, sell, sell. Or you could do something a bit more like this, which I would say, well, it ticks a few boxes, but it's mainly problem-based stuff. I can still promo at the end. In fact, I'll do it now. I have a program called C2C. I think you should join it if you are looking to build, market, and sell your services online. We can help you do it in a very condensed period. And you can find out more by clicking the link. You can work with me directly over the next 3+ months. Most of our clients stay for 18 months plus. And we'll help you do it. We have tons of success stories. There's some proof. Personality. I did a bit of swearing, and we will help you solve a problem. So you can chuck all these things in, but please don't fucking neglect this one and this one, the personality. You have to be yourself. The stories that we tell ourselves are super important, all right? We tell ourselves that we can't put too much of ourselves online, because what if fucking Dave, who we used to work with, calls us out on it or says something in a WhatsApp group chat or something behind our back? I don't care. I used to work with a client called Dina. She's blowing up on LinkedIn right now. She's killing it. And I remember on one of our conversations, she said, oh, my husband's friend called me a LinkedIn wanker. It was when she was first getting into creating content. And I was like, big smirk. She wasn't happy. And I was like, Well, you are. Like, wear it, own it. You have to at some point embrace the cringe if you want to move to new levels. The only reason her husband's friend was probably saying that is because he's like, oh, Dina's trying to do something different. Dina's trying to be new. Like, or who does Dina think she is? That's insecurity or jealousy or both. All right. And the only people that are going to try and pull you down off your new venture or your new pedestal when you start posting videos and posting content are people that don't even deserve fucking being considered in the first place. So please put your personality out there. Right. The recap. We need to get people to spend 7 hours with us in as short a space of time as possible. We need to get them to connect with us emotionally by telling stories and having personality. And we need to get them to connect with us logically in order for them to go, makes sense. I should probably go a bit deeper into the rabbit hole with this person. All right. How do we do that? Well, we show up online using any one of these 4 things or merging them all together. Problem content, which could be yourself, could be like literally solving a problem, or it could be talking through a process, it could be talking through your product, loads of P's. We inject personality, so we show who we are, and that again could be in a business context, but it also could be just talking about real life. I love that one. I think that's the biggest differentiator. Alternatively, we might just want to share proof. So proof that we've helped people or proof that we are good. And we definitely want to promote. All right? So we have the ideology behind it, but now what I want to do is talk about the journey that we're trying to take people on. So we have every single one of us who sells something probably can't sell it to everyone. All right. If you are Nike, then yeah, maybe. Apple, probably. But let's say you're a coach or a consultant or a service provider of some description. You're not going to be able to coach everyone. So we have the whole world's population shrinking down into what I call and what is also known as TAM, which is a total addressable market. If I can't sell to you, you are not addressable. That means you're not in my TAM or my total addressable market. So our job with showing up online is to get the attention of this TAM or this total addressable market. So we want to first capture their attention. Now, it doesn't just have to be through content. We can do it through other means as well. You could go out networking. You might just send a load of LinkedIn connection requests every day, which is what I do, just to bring people into the top of the journey. I've I've captured your attention. You're in my world. Once we've done that, which isn't, an art and a science in itself, but once we have people's attention, we then need to do what we've already talked about, which is build trust. So this is obviously like a funnel diagram. This is referred to as a marketing funnel typically. And we have top, middle and bottom of funnel. Bottom is where we convert. So we get the people whose attention we have, who we've built trust with, to become a client or a lead for our business. But the most important thing is this bit here, the middle of the funnel. I see a lot of people trying to capture new attention and go viral and look like they're cool with the 100,000 followers and stuff. Great. I'm not trash talking that. I also see the opposite side of the coin where they're out there every day just selling. Every single post is a logical post about their business. It's pretty boring and people tend to tune out. They forget that this shit takes time and they forget the most important element, which is trust. Anyway, I'm going on a rant. I'm going to keep going because I'm enjoying myself. So I just want to, there's probably going to be a bit more swearing coming out. So we have got a whole bunch of people, could be millions of people that we can sell to. We need to think about how we get their attention, how we build trust with them, and then how we convert it. And we do that, one of the ways we do that is through creating shit hot content. Now we've covered that, a quick swig of the drink. How long are we on? 20 minutes, not too bad. Lovely. Now I want to talk you through the FAST system. So, no matter how good you are at what you do, you may well struggle to come up with ideas because you could be an absolute expert. So on paper, it makes a load of sense to come up with you, but you might shit yourself when it comes to actually getting the ideas or being yourself out there into the world. You might have an objective, which again, I don't want to trash talk it. You might just want to start going viral. That it can help. Like, it happened to me and it was an absolute shit show, to be fair. I had a post blow up on Instagram that I think had about 2 or 3 million views. It was a few years ago. And that actually got me like 15 to 20,000 followers. Loads of people would celebrate that. And I was celebrating it at the time. I remember refreshing my phone like, oh my God, I've just got like another 200. Oh my God, another 100. Oh my God, another 300. It was crazy. Problem was, they weren't fucking TAM. They weren't total addressable market, so they are irrelevant followers. However, I want to talk to you about this system, okay? Before I do, let's think about what we want our content to be. And if there's one word aside from intentional, we want our content to be repeatable and easy. We don't want to have to recreate and reinvent the wheel every single time. So we need to think about a bit of a system. How do we take something and put it out into the world with as little friction as possible, making sure that it matches our objective and covers the 4 pillars, or problem, personal, proof, and promo. How do we do that? Well, it has to start somewhere, and in order for it to be a process, what I like to do is think about other things that have processes in place. And I came up with this idea almost of like a factory or an assembly line. So we put the content on the assembly line and it just goes out and gets results and does the job. In order for that to happen, we need to turn on the assembly line, all right? Then the assembly line will assemble the product. Then the product will get shipped out and we will track it. So I've kind of based this system just for my mind and to simplify it for clients. I've simplified this system under those conditions. So in order for the thing to run, we need fuel, okay? Then we actually need to assemble the thing. Then we're going to ship it out. And to make sure it lands, we're going to track it, all right? Fuel up the thing, put the stuff in, the ideas basically. Then assemble it, put it together, get it out there, and then track it to see if it's landed. So I'm going to tell you how to do each one of those things. So first and foremost, fuel. Where do you get ideas from? Well, in my opinion, the best way, well, there are two ways. Something that's just happened, so life or biz, I call this reverse delivery. The idea came from you take a problem or a question that you've just helped a client with and you just immediately turn it into content. That's the easiest way to create content in the entire world, because it's literally just happened. But I like to keep what I call an idea bank on WhatsApp. It's just a group chat with only me in, where I just brain dump shit all day. Alex Hormozy, does this in a different way. He brain dumps directly onto Twitter. Then, because he's got a massive audience, people react to it. He sees what pops off the most, and then he spends time making content around those topics, which is super smart. I just keep mine in WhatsApp because my brain dumps are like... they're not cohesive enough to feature or show to the outside world. Maybe I should use Twitter. Not a big fan of Elon. But life and business goes in there. And let's just call this the idea bank. Life and business, that's great. Another thing you can do, though, is basically steal from people. So we are all on the same journey when it comes to creating content, right? And I didn't realise this until I went onto YouTube. And over the course of like 3-4 days, I noticed that a load of the big players on YouTube were using the exact same titles and thumbnails. And it was around that I'm 40, if I was 20, I would do this. It was along those kind of lines. And then the thumbnail would be like, it's not too late, or something like that. I'm 40. If I was in my 20s, I would do this if I wanted to be a millionaire. All that kind of shit. So what they were doing can't exactly be called stealing, but it can be called swiping. And you can swipe an idea. The only thing you have to do is make it your own. So think about this another way, because I was a little bit allergic, and I still am to some degree, like a little bit allergic to just taking content ideas. I'm not talking about taking the whole thing. I'm talking about taking the framework and then draping your own either offer, opinion, proof, personality, whatever on top of it. Because there's no point starting from scratch every time. If there is something out there that's already proven and you think will work for your market, it will be stupid of you for you to ignore that and go over here where it's untested. All right, we want proven ideas and we want them fast. So there are loads of tools you can use to like go and analyze people's Instagram posts and scrape them and get the transcripts. But essentially, we're looking for one thing, and that is an outlier. Something that is performing well above average that we can take, adapt to our own chosen framework or offer or story or whatever it might be, and then assemble. So I have this swipe file or this idea bank or this whatever the hell that is, a drum, like a weird two-handed megaphone. But we have this fucking bank, or I have this bank set up so I can dump into it, and when it comes time to get to the next stage, and that's where I'll put all my bits together, I'm then able to just pull from that. And I keep it updated throughout the week, and then when I sit down, because I have a very focused slot every single Wednesday morning to like ideate and create content and write it, I just go straight into there and I don't have to think. I look at my calendar, like what's happened in life or biz. Maybe I've got some calls because I use Fathom to go after the transcripts. Computer's doing some weird stuff. And then after that, I can go, right, what's good enough for me to feature? Alongside that, I've got competitor posts. So I might find a story that's happened in the last week, and then I'll go, oh, so-and-so has just dropped a post on this and it's absolutely exploded. Let me take their framework, but drape my story on top. All right. And then that's how we get the ideas. The next bit is possibly the hardest bit out of all these four. But a post or a piece of content won't bang unless the idea is right. So you do need to spend time here. I think the problem with most content is it's boring. It just doesn't have a good topic. It doesn't have a good idea behind it. And then no matter how you dress it up, it's still pretty bland. And that's what most people do. So do spend time with this. Even if that's the only one thing you take from this video, set up a bank where you can store ideas. Some people use Notion. Other people use like Google Drive. I've got a friend who emails herself when she has an idea because email's her chosen platform. For me, I have WhatsApp because WhatsApp is there on my phone. There. Nice and easy. So I don't have to think. Just boom, voice note, whatever, and it goes in. Okay, moving on to assembly. So as with everything, and we've already covered this, we have to start with the goal. What are we optimizing for? What's the objective of this particular post or this month or this week or whatever you're creating the content for? Are you trying to capture new attention? Are you trying to just stay in the middle of the funnel and build trust with people, or are you trying to convert? Because that will dictate the angle that you take. All right. So we've got a story, we've got something that we want to say in our swipe file. Which elements are we going to inject? And where are we trying to take people, or get like what do we want to do with the actual post? All right, and that's a big one. That's a real big one. I'm not going to go back into this, but we're trying to capture new attention. We're trying to build trust with the attention that we've already got, or we're trying to convert people who already trust us. So we move them down, or we do it ourselves, but we arrange our ideas around moving people down the funnel. The next thing you need to think about is the ask. Every piece of content has an ask in some description. So a lot of people call it the CTA, or the call to action. What are you trying to get people to do during or after they've consumed the content? Which direction do you want them to go in? Do you want them to tag a friend? Do you want them to share it or save it? Do you want them to comment below? Do you want them to go and download a lead magnet or book a call or sign up to a workshop? We have to be aware of what we're trying to do, because again, that might affect the angle that we take, or the pillar that we use, or the story that we tell. So these two things are very closely intertwined. What's the objective and what are we trying to get people to do? What is the ask? And when you think of asks, a lot of people will just go straight, as I mentioned earlier, to conversion. Well, I want people to buy. Not all the time you don't. Because if you constantly hammer people with fucking conversion and sales messages, they will just get bored. Which is why I went in so deep on the trust building stuff. Super fucking important. All right. Once we know these two things, so you will have a lead magnet or you will have a place that you want people to go, we need to be aware of them, because next we've almost got the idea. We need to focus on the first few lines, whether that's video or whether it's written. We need attention to stay with us once we've captured it. This is called a hook. I'm sure you're aware. There's a little system I use, picked it up from the YouTube guy, Ed Lawrence. A little system I use every time I write a hook, and it's called BENS. B-E-N-S. B-E-N-S. I put Bezen. I like to use Bezen. So is the first few lines, and you can use this for ideas as well. Is it something big? Is it something that's going to make people go, ooh, that's cool? Is it exciting? Is it complex? Or is it actually quite simple? And the biggest one I have noticed, and I've noticed this on YouTube more than anything else, is the idea something new? Now imagine I came up to you and said, I've got this video that I filmed a few years ago, and I think you might like it, versus I've just filmed a video literally 10 seconds ago. I think you might like it. The new part, the recency, is a massive thing. Or is this something undiscovered or unknown or unheard of? So you've been doing this thing, target market. You've been trying to do this thing, but there's a new way. And new, in most people's minds, is always better. They always think that new is the best way. It's just the way that we're wired, okay? And that is how, without getting into the elements of hooks, like obviously specificity, calling out the audience, all that bullshit. Usually that's aimed for ads, but you can still consider, making sure that it's relevant to target market, making sure that it piques curiosity and it actually opens a loop rather than tells the whole story and gives everything away is a big thing too. But I just want to give you the framework for thinking about these. So we have an idea. We're now working out what we want people to do, and we're working out the ask or the call to action. Then we're making it sound good, so we can actually, because if we don't make it sound good, they'll never reach the call to action. They'll never consume the content, and they'll just scroll by in a state of swipe-nosis. Anyway, we write, film, produce the piece, we assemble it, and then we create it, essentially. So we pull all the parts together, we create it, then we got to ship it, and then you've got a choice. It's very simple. This is the easiest step. Do you post it now, or do you post it later? If you post it now, you just do it natively on the platform. If you're posting it later, then you can schedule it either on the platform, or if you're posting the same post across multiple platforms, you can use a scheduling tool. So when I do that, I use something called Buffer. It's like £200 a year, every single platform. And if I make a short form video, I can literally put it up, upload it to Buffer, tick a few boxes, and it goes out on every single platform whenever I want it to, which is perfect. So that bit's pretty easy. The only thing you really need to think about is like the optimum time for your audience. So when are your audience online? You want them to consume, or you want the post to be available just before that hits, in my experience. There are loads of bullshit rules about like, including links and not including links and making sure all this stuff. The main thing with this is volume. So you want to just get 100 reps out as fast as possible. Just get 100 pieces of content done as fast as possible, because that is going to give you the data that you need. All right, what ideas are working, what pillar works the best, what kind of asks are actually converting or getting people to the next stage, what are the best elements of hooks that keep people watching, what's getting the most reach, the most likes, the most impressions, most downloads, most leads, most calls booked, whatever it is. Doing it 100 times will give you some of that info. Anyway, I usually do this. I usually schedule for later, simply because I like to batch create my content. So rather than having to go through this rigmarole all day, as I mentioned earlier, I just sit down on a Wednesday and do it then, which is very helpful for me. The last thing, which I think a lot of people forget about, is the tracking. All right, we spent all the time, loads of time, like firing the machine up, putting the thing through and assembling it. We've packaged it up, we've shipped it out to send to our customer, and then we don't even check if it fucking lands or if it's been delivered. Not great. So we want to have a process in place, and I do this monthly where I just go back and look at how certain content has performed. Because what that allows me to do is identify shit posts and good ones, or I like to call them bangers. If it's a banger and it's got the results that I want, so it's got leads or it's got impressions or it's got downloads or it's got calls booked, I flag it. All right. I sit down once a month with Katie, who helps with our marketing and, well, just helps C2C overall. And she helps me identify these. And then guess what? 90 days later or so, we just rerun them. If it's a banger, it's stupid to, again, just like the swipe idea, it's stupid to start from the start with nothing. Why? We've got a proven idea. It's already worked. It's a banger. Let's rerun it. And there are 3 ways you can rerun it. You can just do a straight up repost of the exact same piece of content. You can recycle it, so you can change certain bits, like maybe the hook or the image that's been attached, or maybe change the CTA, or you can repurpose it, which is take a video and turn it into an article, or take a video and turn it into a carousel. Things like that, basically. Along those lines. Anyway, we're getting to 36 minutes. That's long enough for me. I've put a lot of energy into this and I'm actually quite tired already. I've spent the last couple of days building the C2C app, which is it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited to launch it. It's going to allow ourselves and our clients to be able to do a lot of this tracking just by entering numbers once a month, both on the business metrics, so finances and stuff, but also on the feelings, and then, just as importantly, on the social metrics as well. So I can't wait for that. So it's live, but no one's got access. Anyway, we need to accelerate. The whole point of content is to build trust. That's typically built across 7 hours. We need to condense that time over the shortest time frame possible. We want to connect with people emotionally, but also make sense logically, and we do that using our 4 pillars. We talk about solving problems, or we solve problems, sorry. We inject personality, we showcase proof that we can do it or we're good, and we promote the fuck out of what we sell when we want to, but not all the time. We take the whole world's population and we shrink it down into our total addressable market, and using some of these methods and some non-content based methods, we capture their attention, we build trust with the existing attention we've already captured, and then we convert people whose trust we already have. How do we do that on a content level? Well, pretty simple. It should be simple. We take ideas that have happened to us in our life, or high performing ideas, or a mixture of both. We decide on which objective we want our TAM to go in. We ask them to do it, and then we frame it with a big, exciting, simple and new hook, or a big, exciting, new and simple hook, which actually spells Benz. We put it out now, or we schedule it at the best time we think our audience are going to see it. And then after a week or so, we track it to make sure the results are on par with what we wanted. If they are, we label it as a banger, we rerun it, repost it, recycle it, repurpose it, either now or 90 days later. And that is how you compound. That is how you get momentum, and you're actually able to just work less by doing less, which is what we all want, because we are not here to just become content creators and fucking social media managers. We are founders who have 1,000,001 other jobs to do. If you want to work with me on this directly, you'll get my input every week. Then there is a link somewhere around the video. It's not that way, I'll tell you that. It's not that way or that. There's a link somewhere around the video for you to find out more. I'd love to partner with this on you. That sounds weird. I'd love to partner with you on this if you're looking to get to that next level. So we help people build, market and sell offers using social. Hope this has been helpful. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll catch you soon.